The clerical error, the wringing of our hands over regrettable oversight, I'm not sure either of those approaches fully explains the appalling mistreatment of Afghans. The scandal is of breathtaking scale: moral cowardice, institutional deceit, and the British state, under successive governments, orchestrated one of the most shameful cover-ups in recent memory. The accidental leaking of personal data of over 25,000 Afghans, many of whom risked their lives to protect British forces, to support British forces, and the subsequent attempt to bury the catastrophe under a £7 billion secret relocation programme protected by a super injunction so severe that even acknowledging its existence was prohibited. But the point is, those 25,000 Afghans should all be here now. They're not. They're not, because this error exposes our incompetence, our cowardice, and our casual approach to the help that people give us. In February 2022, a Royal Marine working from the Regent's Park Barracks and under the command of General Sir Gwyn Jenkins, then Director of Special Forces, emailed an encrypted spreadsheet not once but twice. The document contained names, birth dates, contact details of thousands of Afghans, including elite commandos from the CF 333 and ATF 444, many of whom had already been rejected by the UK's Arab scheme. The Marine believed he was sending a list of 150 names for verification. In fact, the file included 33,000 records. 18 months later, part of that spreadsheet surfaced on a Facebook group. The Taliban reportedly had acquired the list. The danger was real and immediate. MI6, the CIA, and the Foreign Office were alerted, and yet, rather than transparency, what followed was a state-sponsored burial. A Cobra meeting was convened. Operation Rubific, an emergency extraction mission, was launched, and then came the extraordinary. A contra mundum super injunction was granted, banning not just the reporting of the leak, but the reporting of the ban itself. Unprecedented silencing of press freedom. Journalists who attempted to publish even vague references to the involvement of General Jenkins were threatened with imprisonment. This at the very moment Jenkins was promoted to First Sea Lord. And who was behind this wall of silence? Ben Wallace, then Defence Secretary. He claims that he merely asked for a 4-month injunction. That's enough. The judge imposed the super injunction. But it's enough that he even asked for that level of secrecy to cover up the incompetence that had been going on. James Heapy, the then Armed Forces Minister, remained silent throughout, and Jenkins, he said nothing. Meanwhile, Labour's new government under Keir Starmer chose to continue the charade. Instead of holding Jenkins accountable, John Healey defended him as an outstanding officer and moved him sideways, not out. Even the King's approval was secured for Jenkins' promotion, while Afghans were being hunted down. The result, a £7.23 billion emergency relocation scheme disguised as administrative reform. Tens of thousands of Afghans quietly airlifted to the UK under Afghan resettlement programme, not because of new eligibility, but because their names had been leaked. The majority of those affected were never told. Many have gone into hiding. Some have died. Thousands remain at risk. Meanwhile, 4,500 Afghans who didn't meet the original criteria were evacuated solely because of this error. They're now the government's human evidence, the living proof of the cover-up. But there's a darker undercurrent still. Jenkins, as director of the UKSF, had reportedly overseen rejections of over 1,500 Afghan applicants, many of whom were potential witnesses in the SAS war crimes inquiry. Again, this is no coincidence. It's obstruction by design or neglect. You can smell the fecal mess from here. This is more than a data breach. It's a failure of duty, honour and accountability. And Jenkins clearly should resign. The government gagged Parliament. Ben Wallace should explain his role in this affair. The army has lied by omission. It endangered lives. It promoted the officer in charge. It used the courts to hide the trust. So we must ask, will General Jenkins be called to testify before Parliament? Will those Afghans still in hiding be told the truth? Will there ever be a public reckoning for those who chose secrecy over safety? As one Afghan father put it, we are miraculously still alive due to our wit and pure luck. But it is like we are evolving in an open tomb. This government and the one before it built that tomb. They locked the truth inside, and they owe those people and us the decency of a reckoning. This was not an unfortunate lapse in protocol. It was state-sponsored betrayal. And we, as citizens of a democracy that claims and to value transparency, as subjects of His Majesty who claims to represent and to embody justice, we shouldn't let it pass quietly into the void. The truth has finally come out, but justice remains gagged. And we have so many problems with justice in Britain. This is just one of many. And we need to be ashamed. We need to be deeply ashamed that we gave our word and we didn't keep our word. We gave our word to all those Afghans, and we either said they weren't eligible or we betrayed them directly, and we tried to cover it up. There is only one word to describe the people in the British Army who were involved in this mess, and the people in the British government who were involved in that mess. And that's shits. And they don't deserve the jobs that they've got. And they should be resigning. And they should be holding their heads in shame, because I hold my head in shame. And I'm not directly involved. I feel so smeared in this stuff. We have responsibility. If our word isn't good, if our word means nothing, what's the point of history?